exist.
Do aliens exist?
When I was little, young lad, probably 3rd grade, 5th grade, in that range.
Yeah.
I was
Young.
hanging out, nice summer night, probably around 9:30 p.m.
Yeah,
a little
that's
late.
important.
You know, it's a beautiful night. I'm looking in the skies. I see all these stars.
Yeah.
Right. You see a plane every once in a while. You see a helicopter. You might see an alien. Right. I look in the sky. 3 lights in the sky. You know what I think? Oh, it's a plane. Not moving though. They're pretty. They're stagnant in the sky.
They're up there, all right.
So my next thought is, okay, maybe it's a star. Okay, but then it starts blinking a little bit. All right. Well, blinking lights in the sky.
Could
be a plane.
It's there for probably like 10 minutes. I don't really check back on it much.
Yeah.
But the 10 minutes goes by. Sun goes down a little more. Gets a little darker out. Becomes a little more apparent.
And it's still there.
I look up in the sky. It's still there. Still looking at it. Lights.
Unidentified
One blink.
object.
One blink, and I see it shoot away. Like Millennium Falcon, just like boom, right out the sky. And in my mind, I'm like, no way. Like, okay, planes don't just do that. Helicopters just don't just do that. It's got to be an alien at that point. Cause there's no way.
There's no way it wasn't an alien.
I'm seeing these 3 lights in the sky. It's got to be something, and it just shoots off like that. And I see the trail of light leaving.
Did you alert the people around you?
Yes, I go, everyone look up, look up, look up. I got my brothers next to me. I got neighbors, and
they
no
were all
one else.
disappointed as hell when they realized there was nothing in the sky.
Yeah.
So
But
now,
I remember it so well. I can like picture the entire scene in my mind.
now we all obviously those aliens. There's no logical explanation for that. But for the sake of just conversation, what else could you think it could have been? I personally, let's say
Nothing's going that fast after sitting there for... Because it's not like it was a shooting star sitting there in the sky for 15 minutes until it wanted to leave.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
But I would also consider, how old are you again? 3rd, 4th grade?
3rd to 5th grade in that range.
And we're talking 9:30 freaking p.m., all right? We all know when you're in 3rd or 4th grade, 9:30 feels like midnight.
Oh,
especially
I
if
guess
you're held
right.
to a good
I
time.
guess you're right.
You're going to be loopy. You're going to be going crazy, especially if it's summer night. You probably had a couple of Mountain Dews. You probably had a couple, like,
No Mountain
caffeinated-
Dews.
You know what, though? Whenever a kid says anything like that, they chalk it up to it being, you're just a kid. You're just saying nonsense. Whenever an adult says something like that, they say, you're just crazy. That's
You know,
just
I
a
know
crazy guy.
kids tend to pay a little more attention too.
Yeah.
They're the one
I
that
feel like a
teaches them.
kid is much less, I mean, depending on how young he is, of course. Maybe he's more likely. But in certain situations, I think a kid would be less likely to just randomly be like, guys, 3 dots just zoomed away.
Absolutely.
That's a very outlandish, fabricated story for a kid to come up with for attention.
I'm not seeing any, like, debunking factors for this being literally just aliens from another planet. I don't think there's a logical explanation on that.
Okay.
Could you have any other ideas of what it would have been? Could it have been
I mean,
a helicopter?
Confirmed.
Could it have been a helicopter?
But it was
There's
sitting
no
there.
way.
But it was sitting there.
That's what I'm
Helicopters
saying.
don't go that fast.
Exactly. It could have been shooting stars that were, like, super conveniently placed in the sky.
Maybe 3 shooting stars right down in there happen to shoot by.
I feel like that's
After
stars?
sitting there for 4 hours.
or like they started at that spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is
I-
like
Or
a
if there's,
conversation for Neil deGrasse Tyson.
that's what I'm saying. We should have him.
What could this be? Yeah, he'll
Do you
definitely
think it
come
could
on
have
the
been?
podcast.
It could have been reflections off Lake Michigan. And
What-
then a
what
boat,
happened?
A boat moved. It was just.
I was.
If
we're
there was
not
a
too
genuine
close to Lake
scientific
Michigan.
explanations for lakes having
I think
reflections
that's
in
a
the
lot.
sky, that actually sounds pretty. That's a high IQ
I think it's
situation.
Pretty
I have a
crazy.
story though.
Oh.
I'd love to know what you have to say about this,
Okay.
Noah. So I was up north, right? It's about like 4.5 hour drive up north up to Presque Isle. I live on this lake house, right?
Okay.
And we have this deck that just overlooks the lake, and you got this great view of the night sky, you know, looking over the lake. And it was dark out. It's me and my brother. We're chilling there up on the deck, and we're just vibing, okay? All of a sudden, huge, like, beam of light in the sky, like the sun was, like, in front of us. That's what it looked like. Just showed up, moved over, like, so it's like deck right here that we're on. Then
Yeah.
behind that is the house. Then behind that is, like, the front. So the deck is at the back of the house.
Yeah.
The light, just this giant bright light in the middle of the night, hovers just over us, goes to the backyard, and then just goes past the trees, and it's gone.
So where'd you say that was again?
That was up north.
And you're not seeing a lot of planes up north.
It's like
isn't it?
one
No.
giant spotlight in the sky.
There is something
Was it-
though.
Was it like? Sorry to cut
No,
you off.
please.
But I gotta clarify this real
Please.
quick.
Yeah.
was it like a rectangular light, or was it like a circle?
It
like
was just
spotlight?
like it's like if I think it was like circular, but it was almost like it could have been like the aura of the light, like radiating off.
Aura.
Like
Ooh.
the source of the light wasn't apparent.
It was
It was just like light. Yeah,
it was just there.
yeah.
So
Just
I
moved
know,
over us
I know
into
that
the back of the trees.
I know northern Wisconsin is actually like one of the hot spots for UFO activity in the United States. And I'm being like serious, like for real. Like there's jamborees up there
No joke.
in northern. I think it's northern Kettle Moraine, like a little bit past northern Kettle Moraine.
Maybe
Or
it's the
there's, like,
Canadians.
There's like thousands. That could
Maybe.
be.
Maybe it is
It's
the
not
Canadians.
crazy. It's not crazy to say that, especially with all the recent Canadian hate going on.
I mean, this was years ago.
Oh yeah, so
To be fair, I was like
yeah, maybe not
9.
maybe it wasn't the Canadians, but anyway, that could be that place is pretty near it, and
Yeah.
that was just a
No,
another
in the
happening.
woods and stuff,
There's,
that's
like,
definitely
thousands
where
of
you hear
reports.
things happen. But then they always will chalk it up like, oh, they're just some crazy woodsmen.
exactly.
But
if
my mind was fresh. I'm not trying to tell lies here.
no, I know. But then again, what if it wasn't aliens? What if it was people?
See, that's scarier than if it was aliens. If it's just this like, if it's stuff that people have that we don't know about. That's why I think like the government having secrets is
Ooh, I just
scarier
thought of
than
something.
aliens. What'd you think of?
You know when you've seen Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Like, all of it.
Yeah.
You know when he has to do like the light thing over like the water to save, like Harry
Oh,
Potter
yeah,
saves
bro.
himself.
Yeah.
What if that's
Yo,
what if that was
time
you
travel.
in the future
What?
coming back to light up the area to scare
This
off
became a
stuff?
time travel conversation.
What?
What
Wait.
if that was me?
What if like in the next 2 weeks you're up north, back in time saving yourself?
And then some crisis happens.
That's crazy.
And then it turns nighttime. I go out on the lake. I come back and see 9-year-old me sitting on the deck.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
What
my-
if
and there's Dementors.
Oh!
what if like there was a problem that would have happened, but you
But I
protected
saved it.
yourself now as like a 17.
What if it was us?
What if we go
After
back-
this
Oh my
conversation,
gosh.
we go outside. We're in space.
What if like but
That's-
what would have happened?
This is
How would-
crazy.
This is.
How would you know something was gonna happen if it never happened? How would you have to go back in time? Maybe it went back in time twice ago.
My
Maybe
God.
you already went back in time and
That,
did it.
that's the
And now
time
you're on
travel
that
loop right
timeline.
there.
But also, you have the thing where it's like, when
Who was
time-
the original me?
Yeah,
that
'cause,
went
like,
back?
The timeline splits, right?
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Yes.
So there's a version where the bad thing
'Cause-
happened.
Because
But there's
listen,
also a
right?
version-
If what you're saying is like true, then the me from this universe is gonna find out that happened because I saw it when I was 9. But the me when I was there had to have been some original version of me to put that in place.
That
So
also,
how did he find out about that I needed saving if he didn't experience the time travel bit?
and the other thing is, we all
The
know
aliens, I mean.
it couldn't have been
Whoa.
a deadly attack either, because a future version of Tommy would have had to go back. So
Absolutely.
what if it was emotional? What if there was something there you shouldn't have saw?
Son?
Dean.
Grammar wizards. What if what if there was something you shouldn't have seen and that light was there? Because
Because it was shielding my
17-year-old
vision.
was shielding your vision. What if it wasn't the mentor?
A Dementor.
What if it was an
That was
actual-
a really good theory you brought up.
What if it was an actual UFO, but future Tommy is on his timeline
What if that's
where
us?
he joins the UFO?
It's Tommy's UFO.
What if it's me like 30 years in the future?
What if
And we've
we're the
discovered
aliens?
space travel, and the aliens were like trying to kill me as a kid, so I couldn't get to that
Yo.
point. But then I got saved
because he
by
went back
myself.
in
They were-
time.
They were gonna probe you.
Yo,
They were coming
As a
for
9-year-old.
you.
I think that the likeliness of aliens existing is astronomically
there's-
outweighs the chances of there not being.
I don't
Oh,
think there's any
100%.
logical
I feel like
explanation.
that in the entire universe, with all the solar systems and all our solar systems and galaxies and all the galaxies and like universes and stuff, that we're the only form of life. At the very least, there's life on other planets.
And
Whether it's conscious and sentient, that's a different conversation.
Or whether it's literally just bio little molecules that are
Well, that's what I mean.
technically
Bioluminescent
That's what I mean.
molecules.
bioluminescent aliens and Mars, frozen water.
Be-
Loki take aliens. I ain't gonna lie. I think
You
I
heard
could
it
take
here
aliens.
first,
Well, I
folks.
think if the aliens wanted to come, they would have came before I got on Earth.
See, that
And
brings to
then-
the point where
What is
maybe
the
like maybe we're nothing to them. We're just like the
Yeah,
we're
that's-
little organism in
what is
space.
isn't that the what's the great filter theory or whatever? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
You guys have never heard of the
great filter?
That has something to do with like
On
aliens.
Snapchat, the great.
It's not on Snapchat. No, it's a theory about like why aliens either haven't discovered us yet or like have discovered us and they just like don't care. I wouldn't be beyond the idea that like aliens have already seen us and been like, well, that literally they're not a threat and they serve no purpose to us, so we'll just move on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why would they even
No.
bother?
Yeah. Why would they bother? But like that's the thing. You don't see many UFO sightings and stuff. It's very
No.
rare. So maybe they're just checking out.
Well, because think
Taking
about how
glance.
big like the universe is too.
And it's still going. It's going
Yeah,
forever.
And that's the thing is, I feel like it's more logical to suggest non-alien sources for a lot of these sightings. It's a lot more logical to
You
suggest
know, government or
not
like,
even government, just people in
just
general.
people.
Ooh.
But how much do we think an average person could get like that far, to the point where they have that technology?
And
like,
you're
people
not-
are smart.
It's not out
Maybe
there.
People are smart.
Maybe not
That's what
an
I mean, and no
average
one knows about it.
Maybe not an average person could have done it.
You think someone from like government secret research,
What if
they got booted out and they were like, all right,
Dude, like Men in Black.
Yeah.
yeah,
so
bro. There's
what
like
if the
secret
light-
organizations?
that light is a replaced Men in Black memory?
Oh my gosh!
Oh
The
my
scanner
God.
thing, bro, where they like make you forget. What if that's happened to us before? You ever think about that? What if something happened and then we got our memory wiped and we would just never know?
That's what I'm saying. You could never know. You wouldn't ever know unless you saw a video of it.
I don't know much about history or whatever, or how much is confirmed about the ancient Egyptians, but I feel like that's one of the biggest people in like groups of people in history that we don't know a lot about at all.
They were large.
Oh,
We don't
yeah.
know how they built the pyramid. Like, we have theories,
Well, they're so
but I feel like
secretive.
none of us know for sure. Like, no human knows for sure on how they built it except for them.
I got a
Yeah.
theory.
Yeah.
I think that they literally just carted sediment up and poured it into molds and let it rock hard.
Cinnamon. The pyramid.
Sediment. Sediment.
Oh, sediment.
Sediment, rock
Oh.
sediment.
They got cinnamon
Like
bark and just
cinnamon.
crumbled it up.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
Like,
No, I feel like we're overcomplicating.
Okay, but
so much.
also You know how? No, listen. You know how the pyramids are like lined up
Yeah.
with stars? How would they know to
Obviously
do that?
that is like
Recently, they just found out the pyramids actually have like more to them underground.
yes,
Dude, they're
Recently, they just found
massive.
them.
They're massive on the outside, and they have huge insides that they built for all these people with this religion that they like came up with, but is also very like coherent in what we know about it. We have languages in there written on the walls and hieroglyphs that we don't know what they're talking about. What if they saw some stuff and they were the only ones who like knew how to live for these aliens or whatever, that they might have worshipped aliens? We're not sure. And then we're just not going to get visited by them again because like ancient Egypt like religions or whatever are kind of like no one's worshiping that anymore. No one's worshiping the pharaohs anymore.
You also got
That is a little insensitive. People might, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know
no
like
one's
Egyptian
worshiping
people.
the pharaohs.
We still kind of worship cats. That hasn't
That's
changed.
true.
Hey, cats are
cute.
Cats are cute.
Koda's cool.
What if cats are the key? Like, you know what I mean? And we just don't
Ooh,
know.
the
Yo.
Sphinx.
Yeah.
Dudes be dying over cat.
What? Oh my god. Some cats act weird.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's true.
Like,
Everybody's
there are
face starting to work
dogs
to
who
'em.
act weird
Ooh.
and stuff, but like cats will act weird. Like there's some cats who act like they're trying to convince you they're a cat. You know what I'm talking about?
You see
Like
those-
you'll see them doing some weird shit, and then they'll realize that that you're like watching them, and then they'll start like doing something else.
You ever seen the videos where like the cats and dogs are just sitting in a circle making no noise, just looking at each other, and then the human comes out and they like all move?
Yeah,
like,
I
walk
feel
away
like
in the hole?
bro, because there's got to be some level of like, even beyond conspiracies of whether cats are aliens or whatever, animals act different when humans are around. Swear, my cat be doing
That's a response because the aliens saw the animals first, and they think we're the aliens.
Yo!
And they've
Oh
seen
my
what
gosh! Oh my
happened.
gosh! You guys know what cargo culting is?
No.
Okay,
What do you-
so back in I think it was like World War One.
Cargo culting?
Cargo culting. Let me explain it. It's gonna make sense. So it's like these like our soldiers I think it was World War One when they were like going to war, they would take refuge in these places with kind of like indigenous people who were like really far behind.
Oh, I know
So
what
we
they-
show up with all these planes and
Yeah,
these
yeah, yeah.
giant guard towers. They think we're like gods. When we left, because the war was over, they wanted to like bring us back because we gave them a bunch of food and stuff.
Yeah.
So they started imitating what we did.
I've
They
seen
they
that.
like made fake planes and did like the structures, but they didn't understand it wasn't a ritual. That was just our stuff.
Oh my.
They, like,
the
worship-
same
like
thing is
North
in-
Sentinel Island.
Yeah, bro. Like that, like something like that. We didn't go there, but like same stuff. We
Yeah,
went to
yeah.
places like that, and the people thought we were like all powerful gods because of all this stuff that we had that they weren't developed enough to have. It's like I feel like what if something similar happened with like the Egyptians, where aliens came through, and they looked like that or
Oh,
whatever
they
with
tried
like
to
the pharaoh. Yeah, and they were
replicate
trying
it.
to replicate it.
What
So
if
they were
just-
like,
what
if
if
you
the
want to get
pyramids were like the UFO sending a little like wave thing down to suck some people up, and that's the
Well,
pyramid.
'cause, bro, okay, regardless of how they built it, which also is not super, like, confirmed upon, I feel like, from what I know, how would they have known to line up with all the constellations and stuff?
Oh, that's
no
so
way
true.
they knew what the constellations were, bro.
And-
All the
and-
way back
and
then.
there's such a gap in
they're
history of when we
perfectly
kind
lined
of
up.
realized that.
That's what I mean.
That means it wasn't talked about whatsoever.
Yeah.
And suddenly, like, it's not by chance. They did it on purpose.
That's what I
you
mean.
know?
There's you can't do that by chance. It's like four or five separate pyramids that are like perfectly lined up with the like stars.
Have you ever think about like
How would they even think to
Genghis
do that?
Khan?
It was Genghis Khan.
Okay.
Genghis Khan.
Khan economy.
I don't really know what he's
Academy.
all about. Like I know who that is.
Okay, but like, he was kind of around during that time, and then like,
I'm ready to hear. You're taking a second here.
because we know about the pharaohs and stuff, and
Yeah.
what like they've written and drew and stuff.
Yeah.
But didn't Genghis Khan, when he died, all his followers and stuff, they
That he
killed
They
themselves.
killed
too?
themselves and then killed anyone who knew where they killed themselves.
I
So,
just
like-
feel like I feel like humans we think for ourselves a lot. So to just blindly follow someone like that seems so improbable.
Oh, true, yeah. But also, what if they saw stuff, but we don't know about it because all the
That's
stuff
what I
they saw
mean.
never got out?
That's what I mean. They just all are like that. Like, what if Genghis Khan was like he knew everything? They're like, what's the point?
Well, hear me out. Hear me out. All right, Genghis Khan, Khan Academy, the math thing. Khan Academy goes back to ancient Plato, who created math back in ancient Greece. Ancient Greece was the second most civilization since
Okay.
Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia.
was Egypt, and then Egypt had all the pyramids. So what if Khan Academy goes back to ancient Egypt because they had to have math? You need math to triangulate locations
So
on
who
graphs.
showed the math to the pharaohs and stuff to figure out those exact locations?
Genghis
Alien
Khan.
done. No, bro, because
It's Genghis Khan.
I'm gonna be
Oh,
honest.
God.
I'm gonna be
Genghis Khan
honest.
is the answer.
Humans might have regressed a little bit, but I feel like there's no way all the way back then, because we like came up with stuff
Yeah.
like math. We just came up with that.
King Genghis Khan came up with
I
math.
mean, they do say math is like the universal language.
Exactly. Everyone speaks math.
Which is stupid. I hate math.
Yeah.
But
But the aliens don't.
like this
Wait.
isn't. I don't know how. Yeah.
What if we hate math because we hate Genghis Khan subconsciously
I don't like
through our ancestors because he killed so many people?
Our
You know,
ancestors are fucking giving us a generational hate for Genghis
the
Khan.
only reason we hate math now is because we hated Genghis Khan for killing all of our families.
Well,
That's
I feel like the
7,000
hate for math kind of
7,000
comes from the American.
Some people
education.
love math,
That's true.
It's
But
and
maybe,
it's stupid.
maybe they were direct relatives of Genghis Khan, though. Maybe
Oh,
maybe your opinion on Genghis Khan.
I don't think
directly
anyone
affects
at this point is a
how
direct
good at
relative of
math
Genghis
you are.
Khan.
We
like
don't even know
half
where
the
he's
world.
buried.
This isn't like I don't know how related this is because I don't think what's his name, Isaac Newton.
I think like
There's a clip of Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about him, how he's like the smartest mind ever
Wait,
because he found out
Isaac
about
Newton-
gravity.
Wait, he did what?
He's the
He's
guy
the
who was like,
gravity.
if it comes up, it must come down.
the
He's that
apple.
guy.
The apple fall on his head.
He
Oh,
he
he's physicist.
he,
He's a
he
physicist.
like realized that went and invented calculus.
Crazy.
How do
That's what
you
I'm saying.
like if their mind's that smart? I feel like that's just not normal, bro.
Well, maybe it is more. What
That's
if we're all?
true. It was an alien feeding
I'm
them that
saying like
information.
yeah.
What if the alien was the apple and the apples are all? Apples are in
'Cause,
math.
bro-
Math is in classrooms. Apples are in classrooms. Apples are for
Wait,
teachers.
why did you wait? I missed how
Aliens
you
are
got
the
to
apples.
apples.
Whoa. And doctors are afraid of apples.
It's because doctors want to help us and math wants to kill us because we hate math.
How did we get to the
It's all coming
apples?
together.
Is it? How did we get to the apples?
The aliens are the apples. The aliens.
The aliens are the apples.
Maybe he's the alien.
No, I'm not the alien. I
No,
swear.
you're steering us wrong right now.
No.
You're trying to
Hear
steer
me
us
out.
in the other direction because that's why you're so tall.
Let me explain. Let me explain. Right. The apple had the alien inside it, and it implanted the calculus in his head. But
Oh, the apple that fell on
Yes,
him.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that
So-
was an alien.
the apple becomes a universal
No, bro.
sign of scholarship.
Because if an alien comes down, gives you like, here, I'm gonna give you all this, and your race is gonna progress a bunch. If you tell anyone about me, I'm gonna kill you. I'm not telling a soul.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Or
why
you
would
just
you?
avoid all that, get yourself a bunch of fame and glory, and be associated with a certain.
That's what I mean. They come down, they're like, you could have infinite fame and glory. Just show the human race this, and don't tell them about us. Granted, I don't know what their reason would be for doing that. But I'd be like, hell yeah. Say less, bro. I won't tell anyone.
Because maybe they want to get they want to have the humans get to a point where they have a super advanced civilization, so they can come back and take it over.
Not because isn't that also a thing? Like, people just hate, or like a lot of organizations hate when people just start talking about like conspiracies. They like try to quiet them down sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because they know too much.
Well, because let's say those people had the situation that I just talked about. If they see some other people trying to talk about it, they're gonna be like, "Shut up, bro."
That's what I'm saying. The apples. Are
It
the
all
aliens.
comes back to
Well,
the
think about
apples.
think about how apples are in every like area of study, especially math. They're put
What do
in
you
the.
mean?
You know how
Yeah, what do you
apple
mean?
you give an apple to a teacher, every like picture in your classroom has an apple on it.
Yeah.
Okay, but
think
think
about
about
it,
it's like a it's like
I feel like it's a gesture.
common fruit.
It's a common fruit mainly associated
All
with school.
teachers are aliens.
No,
So we give
but
them
they have-
apples.
They have association with the
Crazy.
apple. The
They
apple.
live at the
If
school.
the
Oh,
apple is associated with gravity.
Apple.
Gravity is associated with space. We discovered gravity in space because the aliens that came down and talked to the
Exactly. That's what I'm
Egyptians.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Dude, mind fucking blown.
Dude, this is why they come to Triple Take.
These are the smart
I
takes
mean,
that you can
this is
get.
what we're doing.
I mean, no one's doing it like us.
We're boycotting
We
apples.
literally just found out that apples are aliens.
Like no one's thought of that before, and it's because they're not us. I've never had an apple in my life. Never plan on it.
If we leave and come back, if we are silenced, you know why.
Hey, none of us are leaving this earth intentionally next week.
Yep.
So
If we
Yeah,
don't upload,
I mean,
we don't upload
You
by
know-
Wednesday.
you know what happened.
We weren't intentional about it.
Yep. We got silenced. Shh.